Okay, so I'm actually going to start with this because I know the cohort B was talking about this the other day. We actually, cohort B, met on the anniversary of the sinking of the Edmund Fitzgerald on Lake Superior. So here is Dr. John Neese for that.
About 6,000 shipwrecks have occurred on the Great Lakes since commercial shipping began there, many caused by the weather. Historically, November has a reputation for some of the most intense storms, and the term November gale is part of the language of those who live and work on and around the lakes. Now this month, cold Canadian air moves south with increasing intensity and frequency as winter approaches, while at the same time high pressure occasionally parks along the eastern seaboard as it did earlier this week.
All right, so pay attention to this because this will be part of your pair deck too. And this is actually really good because this is exactly what's been happening with the warmer weather going back to cooler weather and then record high temperatures going back to snow. So this will go along with your pair deck when it asks you to draw the arrows where the warmer, moist air comes from and the colder air comes from. These are the exact same arrows that you'll be drawing.
Sending a mild flow north, setting up a temperature contrast that energizes the jet stream, which now dips regularly into the U.S., so lows often intensify as they move from the Great Plains into the lakes. One historic storm that followed such a track occurred this week in 1998, producing 20-foot waves on Lakes Michigan and Superior and setting low-pressure records in Iowa and Minnesota, though the Minnesota record has since been broken. I actually used that storm as an example in my synoptic meteorology class here at Penn State. Another November gale took a similar track this week in 1975, and its waves and winds led to the sinking of the freighter Edmund Fitzgerald on Lake Superior, a tragedy memorialized in a song by Gordon Lightfoot, a tribute to the 29 men who went down with the ship. His haunting lyrics, Superior, they said, never gives up her dead when the gales of November come early, capture how dangerous the lakes can be this time of year. Built in 1958, the Edmund Fitzgerald was a sturdy, 729-foot-long, 75-foot-wide freighter that was the largest ship on the lakes until 1971. The Fitzgerald departed the western tip of Lake Superior the afternoon of November 9th, 1975, loaded with 26,000 tons of iron ore, bound for Detroit. Now, with the storm approaching from the southwest, winds initially were from the northeast. So the ship stayed on the north side of the lake because the biggest waves from a northeast wind would be on the south side. By sunrise the next morning, the center of the low was on the UP of Michigan, and the ship was reporting 40-mile-per-hour winds. The ship and the still intensifying storm crossed paths that afternoon, and winds shifted to northwest behind the low. So the ship, now in southeastern Lake Superior, was exposed to larger waves because the wind now had more water to cross. Within hours, the Edmund Fitzgerald was listing, and the captain reported the worst seas he'd ever encountered. Around 7 that evening, the ship sank in hurricane-force gusts and waves to 25 feet, only about 20 miles from land. In 2006, a paper in the Bulletin of the American Meteorological Society re-examined the weather associated with the storm that sank the Edmund Fitzgerald. Their detailed computer simulations suggesting that the ship was caught in the most severe part of a storm that comes along only once every 10 to 20 years. 150 years ago, the power of these Great Lakes storms played a key role in shaping American weather history. The great loss of sailors and ships on the lakes due to the weather helped convince Congress and President Ulysses Grant to create in 1870 the forerunner to what is today the National Weather Service. Stay tuned. Our extended forecast is next.
Okay. Wes, let's turn your mic on real quick. Could you hear that pretty good? That came in well?
Yeah.
Yeah, did you like that? That was pretty good.
Yeah, it was good.
All right, good. Turn your mic off. Okay, I'm going to share a Pear Deck with you. You will have to open a new tab and join it. So you should see the Pear Deck tab now. Let me start the lesson. And then turn your mic off if your mic's on. There you go. Oh, actually, someone is still on. Okay, so here is it's joinpd.com and it's MDIYED. It's down here at the bottom. I'll try to zoom in on that. There you go. Joinpd.com, MDEYED. Is that showing or is it just the screen still? Oh, here we go. Here we go. Now you got it. So that's how you join. Down at the bottom there is how you join. If you're having problems, turn your mic back on and you can ask me about it, but you should see the screen that has the Join PD at the bottom. And I believe because it's student led, as soon as you join, you can start it.
What's the code again?
MDIYED. And as you're filling this in, this map was actually taken from, this was a predicted forecast for next Friday, Black Friday. And you can hit that raise hand button or just turn your mic on if you have questions about it. But it looks like most of you guys are doing a good job so far.
Step, it's not working for me.
Did you go to the joinpd.com?
Yeah, that's where I am.
Okay, if you look at your screen, and then MDI as in indigo, YED.
All right, I got in.
Okay, good job. And honestly, when you think about this, it's kind of just like class, except I don't have to get up and walk over to your Chromebook. Not just you, whoever just asked that question. I'm just saying in general, this really is going a lot better than I expected in terms of virtual and overcoming obstacles with internet and all that stuff. Nice job. About 2 more minutes. If you're not done, you can finish it on your own. But I want to give you guys time to start the other lesson. So if you have questions, you can ask them. It's like we have 17 out of the 31 done so far. So another minute. About 20 seconds. Okay, good. Jenna, turn your mic on real quick. How are you doing this morning, Jenna?
Good. How are you?
Not bad. Feel like you did pretty well on that?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll check them real quick. So if you look at your screen, I'll pull up each of those and you can check them. They look pretty good. I'll just pull up the first screen, so I'll try not to show the name, but this is really good. So the low pressure is right there. Inside that small circle is the lowest pressure. Remember, it decreases going into that. For the second one, the high pressure is out there over the Rockies. There's also a high pressure in Canada up here. So that was really good. Strongest winds where the isobars are closest together. That's a good job on this one. The cold front right down here. You can see the contrast in temperatures from the warmer to the very cold. So this is a great job. The warm front's actually right here. So this is still the cold front here. The warm front would be here because remember the warm front moves this way. So the warm front's the difference between these warm temperatures and the cooler ones. Continental polar is up here. So this was a little bit off. Remember the continental polar comes from Canada. And this is good. The maritime tropical, all this warm air coming up. Good job. Colder air invading is coming from up here. And warmer air, the arrows actually should just be in this area. Coming up from the Gulf of Mexico. Coming up from Orange Beach, one of Chesney's spots, Gulf Shores. And then for this one here, trying to remember what the question was for this. Oh, what they increase or decrease by. So they do increase and decrease by 4. So when you do that in a minute, remember it increases or decreases by 4. So that's a good job. Okay, so I'm going to share the lesson now, and this is this is the demo copy. So Schultz, turn your mic on a minute and say hi.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, you can see that isotherm and isobar map now?
Yep.
Okay, or the assignment. Okay, so here's what you're going to do. You can turn your mic off. So what I did on this, you can zoom in, and this is actually the worksheet, the instructions. This top part here, I filled in the first one for you. The isotherm are lines that connect equal temperatures. But when you fill it in, just create a text box, and you can type in the text box and then move it anywhere you want. So here's a new text box. I can move it anywhere. If I want to move it to Isobars and change the size of it, but then you can just type in the text box there. That's how you would answer that. And then it'll tell you what to do right here, but I'm going to demonstrate. Procedure A, part A, you're going to construct an isotherm map. Isotherms are lines that connect equal temperatures. You're going to go to the lowest temperature and find the nearest 10-degree increment. So let me show you. That's this right here. Now watch this. And I'll still be online if you have questions. But lowest temperature is 5 degrees right here. So if I go to the next 10-degree increment, that's 10 degrees. Now watch what I do. And this is all on video too. So if you are struggling, you can go back and watch the video. So I'm going to grab I think it's the marker. Yeah, the marker, the black marker. And because 5 is the lowest temperature, I'm going to start with the next 10-degree increment, which is 10. And I'm just going to connect these. And I'm going by tens. So after 10, the next 10-degree increment is 20. And not only are you connecting them, but look at the other numbers around them so you can see what you're going through. The next 10-degree increment is 30. But again, you want to be between 25 and 34 because that's what 30 falls in between. And if you want to, you can actually print this. I'm going fast, so let me know if But anyways, that's the beginning of it. And then actually, if you were in class, you're supposed to color it in, but the Jamboard only has 5 colors. So what I would do, because blue is usually colder, take the paintbrush and you can still color it in like that. So blue, green is a little bit warmer than blue, but you get the idea. So that's the isotherms. The next part is the isobars. And I'm going to zoom in again. For the isobars, you're going to construct 4 millibar isobar maps. Find the lowest pressure, which I'll show you, and then start at the 992. So watch this. And zoom in again. It's easier to see it. So find the 992. It's right there. Or find the lowest pressure, 992. And then that's where you'll start your isobar map. So when I start this, I'm going back to the marker. And you can erase and change things if you make a mistake. But here's the lowest pressure. I'm just going to connect those. And then if I'm going up by 4s.
You missed one.
Okay, thank you. So this is what you can do if you do that. Okay, good, because 989 is the lowest pressure. All right, so there's your 992, and then whoever said that, turn your mic back on. What's 4 more than 992?
996.
Okay, good. And then you would just go to the 996. And then 1,000. Okay? Turn your mic on if you have any questions, and I'm going to actually stop recording. So don't turn your